Welcome to my Ultimate Ironman Level 3 Skiller Guide. How to play this mode. What do you need to know? What are the resources? What do I start with? What can I trust? What's up to date? What's new? What can I do? Can I get the few done? I mean, basically, where do I start? Because resources are everywhere. Resources are outdated. What do I do? Well, the point of this site is to hopefully and eventually solve that problem for the 15 people maybe in the future that'll ever play this mode. Honestly, it's a very niche build, right? You're already playing with no bank, no trading, no GE, no real world trading with mommy or daddy's credit card. Right? I mean, there's only one Ultimate Ironman Level 3 skiller that's maxed currently in the game. So when we're talking about making this stuff, I do this for enjoyment. I do this because I have been playing this mode longer than most people who have made the guides. And really, when it comes down to it, I was the first person to actually make an explicit Ultimate Ironman Level 3 guide back in 2017, I think, thanks to level-3, Navus, and a couple of others. So because of that, I've decided to create the site. Now, I know that this site right now just has some backstory, some information, some credits where credit is due. And honestly, this efficient 100-step start guide is pretty damn good, but it's incomplete. The skills guide here, we've got some templates for what we need to do, but there's a lot of work to be done there. We've only got one calculator, though I'd say very useful. Needs to be updated, and we've got some future unlocks to be had here. Now, the reason why I don't do this in Pastebin is because Pastebin is very limiting. As the same reason I don't do it in a Google Doc, right? So this guide video, we're going to go review resources. You can see I'm over here doing MLM in the side, so I'm not going to do this as some highly produced, edited content. You're just going to get the raw, it is what it is video. But I want to give you resources. I'm going to give you links. I'm going to tell you what to watch out for. I'm going to tell you what you should look into. And hopefully in future videos, I will release more granular videos. And why did I make this video? Well, I could have just not. I could have just kept working on the site silently. I did post that version 1 was up and then I'm working on it. But I got this tweet on my feed. UIM Skillers, is there a skilling Discord, community Discords? Feel like I started to gain knowledge about iron pure methods, but UIM alone is a challenge and skiller is a larger challenge now. And so because of this, you can see there was some responses here, and that ended up leading to me thinking, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to tell everybody everything about this mode and what to watch out for. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it or fanboy anybody or anything like that. I'm going to tell you how it is and what it is. Because honestly, when it comes to level 3 Ultimate Ironman Skillers, I feel like I'm the last one still standing, still playing it to some degree, at least from the very beginning in terms of the oldest. level-3 was pretty much my main mentor. I watched a lot of videos from Navus in the beginning. level-3 really was the one to give me help and answer my PM messages. He was never in the spotlight too much. He was the first level 3 Ultimate to max, as well as the first Iron level 3 to obtain 99 Herblore. And really, he's the GOAT. Like, he is the greatest of all time. Even the stuff you saw in Navus did, a lot of that came from Navus's discussions with level-3. And I mean, Navus never really gave explicit credit for anything to level-3 in any of his videos. And a lot of his videos are what brought a lot of popularity to the mode. And honestly, it was a great thing for this mode. But yeah, level-3 is the GOAT. I got a lot of my information from him in my first guide. And then also the other person I give a lot of credit to would be Navus, just because of his videos. He did get me inspired and motivated to play this build, in which I did to about 1350 total, 100 mil total XP, several 99s, basically 90 base. Enough to say that I'm not just writing a Pastebin with text about this guide. In this mode, I've played it. I've actually done it, folks. So I would say it's probably a lot easier to write something about something than to go through and do it. And that's why I'm so passionate about this and putting this video out now. Because if there's ever anybody interested in 2021 to start this, maybe this is a side project, a little bit of fun, you're looking for something different and more challenging, just to see if you could even do this, if you could even make it a week. I like those kind of challenges, and maybe this will be helpful for you. So let's jump into it. My efficient 100-step start guide. You can come in here and you can filter anything you want. You can come and do, oh, this is the step, and then you can save it, and then you can come back later and it's saved there for you, right? And so it'll bring you to it. You can do other ones and the same thing will happen. You can unsave them. This was built upon the guide that I worked on with Guardy back in 2018. So I did a lot of theory crafting in Discord with Guardy, who was actually a great friend at that point. We talked a lot on Discord. I don't know really what happened, like where he blocked me. I probably was some incidents. I mean, I was pretty toxic and had a lot of issues, but at the same time, I don't know. Something was really weird about him. It felt like it was kind of sketchy. level-3 and whatnot, I would say a lot of that information pretty much came through me. And then Navus, I don't know if he actually really got a lot from Navus, or he's just referring to his videos and whatnot. But we basically in Discord went through all of these steps. And this is the classic go-to Pastebin guide that whenever somebody says they're interested in starting a level 3 ultimate, this is where they send you to. And the problem with that is it's outdated. It doesn't have the newest methods. It's pretty good. There's a lot of gaps in between here, things that aren't mentioned, like in a really helpful order. You might accidentally do something and then regret it in the next 2 steps. And so this guide I never followed on my first ultimate level 3, but since I restarted, this is where I started. And so my guide right here is inspired by that guide, but I would say it's taking some of the things that when I theory crafted this with Guardy, thought was the most important, and kind of putting that back in the preface, and then also trying to update things where they're lacking. And again, this is a template to where I'm not limited by Pastebin. I can add pictures in here. I can add videos in here. I can edit this text really quickly too. There isn't really anything limiting me, and this is kind of an efficient starting guide as well. And so that's kind of where this came from. No shade thrown at Guardy at all for this guide. I had a lot of fun working on it with him. I know that we have our differences and whatever. It's mainly on his side at this point, but this was a great guide, but I would say it's not the guide. So if somebody sends you this, cool, but let's look at a bunch of other resources. Let's talk about a bunch of other stuff. And if you have any questions, I'm actually going to have my private on. I'm actually going to be playing this mode. And so, maybe there's some stuff here that obviously you wouldn't be able to reach out to Guardy and get answers on, at least, current answers. Maybe he does. I don't know. I don't know how much he keeps up with it since 2018. I know he's playing a regular ultimate. So that would probably be an issue. If you came here, you would probably stay here. The number one guide I'd recommend right now. I am aware that my site does not have everything yet. Like Skill Guides is incomplete. So I send people typically to UIM Skia's guide. Now, this is a friend of mine that, at least through Twitter and through being an Ultimate Ironman Level 3, that I met, I would say, months ago. And even before he made this guide. And this actually looks a lot like my Evernote guide that I put out in 2017 that eventually, I just didn't keep up with. I don't even know where it went. Because he covers things in sections that are very valuable for starting ultimate level 3s. There's a lot of confusing stuff. I mean, most people say, oh yeah, that's so autistic, or they joke about it. You put them off tutorial island and say go, they'll shit the bed. They have no idea what to do. They couldn't handle this mode if they tried for an hour, right? They literally log in. It's too much. They log out. So, this is a helpful guide for people who, when they get off tutorial island, they want to know, what should I prioritize? What's important? There are some things here, like he gives credit to Mauler, which I appreciate. He gives credit to Guardy's guide. He gives you also a video to my guide. So he's very, I would say, very neutral in this guide. And actually, a lot of this stuff is going to be on my website at some point. Maybe differently presented, definitely visually presented differently, because I won't be limited by a document, but what I can develop. But it goes through storage and all the types of things that I went through in my original guide that are really helpful and important to know, as well as updates to even, I would say things that are newer that haven't occurred in at least the time frame since I made the video. Transportation. Pretty much this is the best guide. I'm not going to go too much into it, but it's the best guide. I will say that some of the quest goals are a little bit out of order. I would consider observatory quests huge to get done immediately so that you avoid having to do Demon Slayer and get any combat XP there. And with observatory quests, you could do that like within the first hour of your account. And that's something that even Guardy acknowledges. So I would say that sometimes, quests are kind of hard to go over. And because of that, there is also another Pastebin guide that has a bunch of the level 3 quests in it. I would say that it is not so much that helpful because it kind of might bring some confusion over, I guess some confusion over like why some of this stuff would even matter. So for example, you can still do Kandar and Easy Diary without killing the exact Earth Elemental that is from Elemental Workshop and still get 0 combat XP. You won't get the quest done, but you'll get the diary done, right? And you won't even have to hit do any 0 XP combat XP method. I don't know if this is actually accurate or up to date. Some of this stuff, possibly. I actually haven't tested and done One Small Favor, even though I do have Shiloh Village completed, as well as Taibao One Eye completed. So I don't really know if you would need recoils for this. I'm pretty sure you would. And that's the same for Ithclarin's Little Helper. I would be surprised if I could do that without any recoils. But hey, I have the poison, so who knows? Maybe I'll try that in the future. But, for just a general list of quests and whatnot, this is a fantastic little guide that just has some information. Things like Lost City, the problem with this guide is it's going to say, hey, you can do this, but here's how you do this. But you don't need Lost City to get access to Puro at all, right? So that might be a little bit misleading to somebody who's new and would not know. Demon Slayer doesn't even have to be done. So that's something that, it's a certain quest we can't do typically. You can do it, but don't do it, right? So I feel like this should be mentioned way earlier on than all the way at the end. And so some of this stuff is really good and definitely very, very awesome to see out there, but it's just kind of a bunch of scattered different information you can already see. And then Mayfield is a friend of mine as well who's made this guide more recently, and he's putting together something, but again, he's referring to, hey, Guardy's guide. Mauler's video series is more of a kind of a showcase, flex, enjoyable entertainment aspect of the mode, which I appreciated and enjoyed and complimented in comments. But at the same time, it's not a very efficient way to go about it. Like, you wouldn't go and get 60 agility before you have your combat done. Like, that's just a waste of time. If your account gets ruined, what's the point of doing 60 agility when you can do like 20 agility and you have plenty of run energy to go do the quests that matter most, right? So I think there is a point to doing efficiency at the start. You don't have to be an efficient skiller if you don't want to be later on, but I would say for the sake of avoiding getting multiple 99s or 200 mils rather, and then having an oopsie later, you should probably think about it a little bit more before you just skip it. So that's my outlook at it. The second reason this guide is influenced by those guides is because the second time I went around, I actually went through Guardy's guide, and I found a lot of gaps. I found a lot of things I'd prefer to do a little bit better. I found some things that they were the correct step. They're like for example, kill the giant rat. But, hey, let's mention how to do that. Let's show how to do that. So you'll see that there are some specific resources I'm going to suggest for that, which would be Keyboard's videos. Hands down, Keyboard knew the method before anybody else, at least in the level 3 Iron community, for pretty much everything, even getting recoils. And he's done stuff as crazy as completed contact on a hardcore Ironman skiller. Many things that he's done are no longer possible just because of not being able to get recoils, but even stuff that is still possible is here, and him just showing the method. He leaves commentary out of it. It's just straightforward. There isn't music. He has the metronome going for the ticks so you can see what's going on. It's just very clean. He's always done things really, really well. So I always give shout out to Keyboard because this is my man. When I first reached out to him about starting over again on my ultimate level 3, again, and wanting to take advantage of these 0 combat XP methods, he was the first to answer my questions. He was the first to offer help, even with, with the hardcore Ironman level 3 that I wanted to do it on. He did it on the account for me just so that I could kind of see what was going on. And so that was really, really cool. He's a very, very helpful, polite person is my point. Yet he's, got the 1KC flippers, and you can't get that. It's impossible to do. So those are some videos I would recommend watching if you haven't seen them before. You can see me in separate videos doing different things. I would say kind of scuffed, and maybe some of it's deprecated, but I do have this sufficient UIM level 3 skiller video, which is no music or anything, but it kind of just has all of the steps, both in pictures and in video clips, of everything that I mentioned in my efficient starting guide, as well as video clips where you will see me do stuff like kill the bat and do it. I will mess up from time to time and get a little bit of combat XP, but overall my account is far better than my first Ultimate Level 3 was in terms of XP. I have more things completed. I have quests you can't complete now on this account completed that had I restarted because recoils were obtainable, I wouldn't have actually probably been able to complete in time. So this is a video you might want to look into. I don't necessarily break down where everything is, so you'll see some complaints about that. But overall, again, it is, it'll show some stuff. So that's there. Also, if you're interested in just entertainment aspect, Navus obviously is the go-to. The problem with Navus's videos, though, in terms of Ultimate, is he didn't really start anything. He basically had like fishing, cooking, farm run. Blast Furnace was pretty cool. These were all cool videos that came out, but his first progress video was 5 months in. So when you look at his stats, for example, in this, we can even see them, he's already doing things that are far beyond the very first part of an Ultimate Ironman Level 3. Right here, you can see that. So because of that, there wasn't really ever any information, and if you were to reach out to him, you might get a response, you might get some help. He's a nice guy, but it was really just dead. There was no way to get through. So there wasn't really any good guides from Navus in terms of actually really helpful information. And that was, I think, why he started turning his private office, because too many people were asking him questions and then not even actually playing the mode. But I do wish he would have actually really just kind of created a video to help. And I think that's 4 years ago. That's actually might have been when I made my guide, was around this point. Maybe between that video and this video. So that's why I made my first guide, and level-3 helped me with that. Again, Mauler has a really good entertaining series for how to make perfect level 3 Ultimate Ironman. It is kind of dead. I don't know if it stopped at 4 and it's done for now. Obviously, there's some things that cannot be done any longer on here, so you can't do it perfect. But this would be an example of me stating, it's not efficient. You don't want to go do 47 agility at the beginning of your Ultimate Level 3. It's just not a wise decision. It's a waste of time. I don't know how else to better say that, but it is. And, I may be a casual, but I do know what efficient is and what you should avoid. And I don't want you to get 50 agility only to mess up an observatory quest and then start over when you could have messed up an observatory quest the first 45 minutes, maybe been annoyed, but started over and then gotten it the second time and have a better build and a better account for the future going forward for mistakes if they came up. So, yeah, but again, shout out to Mauler. Good videos there. He's a neutral person. I would say Mark and Drew have been the most, and Keyboard have been the most kind to me. But that's another video. So there is some commentary there that I'll link, as well as there's a video on how to do contracts. But all this stuff is just scattered. So I'll link all that in the description below. And this video is getting rather lengthy. I think we're at almost 20 minutes, so I'm going to end it here. But this is hopefully gives you some information of where to start, what to go about. If you do go through this at all and you have suggestions or things you think should be modified, let me know. Feel free to DM me on Twitter. It's not hard to get to me. I'm right here, OSRS_skilling, and you can just direct message me and I'll update it. I do post my progress here as well. Again, I'm actively playing the mode. I don't know if I'm going to max. I'm, a dad, and I put in the hours that I can and I get to where I get, but so far I'm doing pretty good. I would say that I'm about halfway to where I was at bag. I had 100 mil total XP and 1350 total, and I'm about almost 1150 total and about half the XP. But all the quests are done, a lot of combat's done, all the favors done. Basically everything that I'm telling you to do, I've actually done it myself. So that's what I'm going on about. In the future, this site is going to be hopefully modified to, in my mindset, kind of knock out the need to go to here and there and this and that. And I'd honestly like people to contribute to it. I have no problem giving credit, again, to where credit is due. That's not the issue. The issue for me is basically removing the gatekeeping that started off early in the mode and then making it accessible so people who don't think that they could even play or enjoy this mode, like I once thought, would be able to give it a fair shake and enjoy it and make content. So that's the goal, right? Really is just to share and actually have other people enjoy the mode instead of just hoarding it for yourself, which is what a lot of people do. I think it's for the glory. I think it's for just, feeling good about it, whatever it is. But, that's not why I play this mode. I play it because I enjoy it, and I've tried to go back to other account builds. I've tried to do things that are probably wiser to do. And again, here I am doing this, and hopefully I will do this, and this will be my last account, and I will play this account till the end. But yeah, you can also watch my video series there if you'd like on my channel at youtube.com/OSRS, which you are hopefully on if you aren't watching this on Twitter. And there's videos here from the last Ultimate Ironman Skiller series. You can see that I did do that if you'd like some verification on bag. And then this is the newer series. And then this video will go in the guides, tips, and discoveries. And I plan on making a lot of videos. Like, there's stuff that people talk about, and I still laugh. Like, I am going to be doing 60 smithing here soon. I am not going to be doing these water wheels. I don't know why people think fixing the broken struts is a good idea. There is a way better method that's way faster XP. It's a little bit of money, but who cares? And it'll get you to 60 quicker, and it's way more enjoyable. And you're going to make steel dart tips all the way doing it. So I'm going to just show you little things like that. Eventually, my farm run is going to be dialed in. I've almost got my last palm seed. I do have a looting bag, and you can see my seed box here. You can see my looting bag is pretty much dialed in. And so, yeah, I could definitely do a lot of quests if I wanted to get some higher quest point count, but I've already done the Kren favor. And yeah, I've already done all of the diaries that are possible. So, there's some stuff that I can definitely share with you guys in more specifics if that's helpful. I don't know if creating a new account to do that is a good idea, because honestly, that might just be a whole lot of work. If somebody wants to go through it and, contribute that content, I would really appreciate it for the site's sake. And it would give somebody an opportunity to also get their name and credit for doing the work that I've done and, all of that. But anyways, this is a long video. Hopefully this will get you started. In the future, this site should have more videos, more explicit guides for the type of player you may be. And eventually someday, who knows, maybe I'll extrapolate this further out into hardcore, etc. But if you'd like to contribute, or you'd like to be referred to in communities for 10 HP or level 3 skillers, or for, even unique skilling accounts like 99 HP pures or defense 10 HP pures or whatever, let me know. As well as if you have any specific resources that weren't mentioned or seen that you think would benefit this mode, send them this way, and I would gladly like to showcase them and send them your direction. I'm working on Completionist as well. Basically, I'm working on skill guides and Completionist. Completionist is going to be a lot of fun, but I'm also thinking I might mix this up and change it up a little bit and rip off a bunch from Skia. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one, a little bit of a ramble, but hopefully you have a little bit more information and kind of have a bigger, higher level picture of where to start versus walking the dark or going down a pathway of which there is no return and can be pretty devastating. I've seen it, so just don't be one of those people. I want you to have a good experience, and if it's you, it's gonna suck. It's really gonna suck. So yeah, that being said, hopefully you enjoy. It's all about having a good time, in my opinion. Whether you're efficient or you're casual, you're probably having a good time if you're playing, and that's the point. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys in the next one.